Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to build a ChatGPT clone using Django and OpenAI. You understand? So currently I'm on the ChatGPT homepage. So here's our clone. This is my clone over here. It's not looking exactly like ChatGPT, but it's kind of similar. You understand? So I could come over here, I could pass in the prompt, I could pass my prompts here, I could say what is Django, you understand? So what is Django? So then click on the search icon. So once it is done loading, it's gonna give us a response. Hope you understood. So it's quite simple. I'll show how to do. You can see now I asked what is Django. I define Django. It says Django is a high-level Python web framework and so and so. You can see ChatGPT defined it. Right now I can see this is my response from ChatGPT. Hope you understood. You get. So this is how it works here. So if I refresh this page now, if I refresh my page, you understand, you're going to see my response over here. You're going to see my search. So currently for this logged in user, these are all the searches, these are all the searches he has made. You understand? So I'll come over here and just say, I could just say how do I make an HTTP request in JavaScript. Copy this and then paste here, then click on search. So it's gonna give us a response. Once it's done loading, it's gonna provide us with a response. Hope you understand. Right now you can see it has given us a response. I asked how do I make an HTTP request in JavaScript, and right now it has given us a response. Hope you understood. So right now I could log out now, I could create an account. You could come over here, create an account. I want to create now I'm going to create a new account. I'm going to say Sam. I'm going to say Jane. Let me just use Jane. And Jane, I'm going to give her an email address, jane@gmail.com, and a password. I'm going to give her a password here. And then there, over here, the same thing. Okay, let me just put it down. Click create account. Oh, there's an issue. The password she does not match. Let me give in something else. So I think I made another mistake there. Sorry for. So create an account. So once everything goes, so you'll be logged in automatically. Once you put in the right details, you'll be logged in automatically. So right now I have a new user called Jane. You can see she haven't made any searches. She haven't made any searches yet. So we'll just come here and just say Jane could just ask what is an e-commerce website? What is an e-commerce website? Or you could just say who is Bill Gates, understand? Or you can say who is the richest man in the world? Who is the richest man in the world? So and then you just click on the search field. So right now you could say as of 2021 the richest man in the world is Elon Musk. You understand? So right now if I refresh the page now, you can see this is Jane's search. You understand? So I'm going to show you how to build this ChatGPT clone using Django and OpenAI. And once again, our application is responsive. I'm good about that. It's responsive. You understand? So if I come over here, I could click on this. This is the left panel. It could hide, it could open. So I'm going to show you how to do this using Django and the OpenAI API. You understand? So if you're new to my channel, do want to subscribe because more exciting tutorials are coming in. You understand? So without further ado, we're getting started right now. Okay, so as for the source code, don't worry about it. I'm going to provide the source code for you guys. I'm going to provide the front end separately. I'm going to give you guys the main source code itself also. You understand? So don't worry, I'm going to provide the GitHub repo for the source code so you guys can follow along and make your own ChatGPT. Hope you get. So right now, let's make our Django project. So I'm going to come down to my command prompt and I'll go down to my downloads directory. That could be my desktop. Let's say download. Let's say downloads. My desktop is kind of overcrowded. Downloads. Right now, I'm going to create a new Django project. I'm going to make a virtual environment. I'm going to say make virtual env. Make virtual env. I will just say bots env. That's the name of my virtual environment. I'm calling it bots env. So once it's done creating, we're going to create our Django project and then keep going. So right there, my virtual environment has been created successfully. Once I've done this now, the next thing for me to do now is create my Django project. I'm going to install Django. I'm going to say pip install Django instead. So I'm going to install Django into my virtual environment. Hope you understood. Okay, so once you're done installing Django, the next thing for you to do is for us to create your Django project. Instead, once you're done installing Django, you simply create a Django project. I'm going to say Django admin. Let me just make this Django admin. I'm going to say start project. I'm going to call it ChatGPT. Start project. I'm going to say ChatGPT. That's going to be the name of our project. You get, so Django admin start project ChatGPT. So it's going to take quite some time to create this project, and once it's done, okay, just click back here. So let's wait for it. Once it's done, we'll just continue. So once my project has been created right now, I'm able to create a Django project. You guys, so I'm going to go into that directory called ChatGPT, and I'm going to say ChatGPT. I guess this is quite small. Should I make it big? Sorry if it has been too small for you. So I'm going to go in there. Once I'm there now, I can then create an app. I'm going to call my app. I'm going to say Python manage.py start app. Sorry for the noise. I'm going to call it chat app. So let's see. So right now I can check my directory. Let me see what I have. I'm going to say dir. So right now I have my chat app, I have my Django project manage.py file. So everything is in there. I think this is too big. Let me just reduce the size. Okay, this is better. Everything is in here now. So I want to open this Django project using VS Code. I'm going to say code, then what's happening? I'm going to say code, then dot. So we're going to open this directory, my Django project on VS Code for us. Let's see that right now. So right now VS Code is coming up. So I'm going to continue from there. Okay, so right now our VS Code is open. So now let's run the server. Click on this new, click on terminal on top, then click on new terminal. So we're going to run the server right now. Okay, so over here on the top right, click on this downward button, click on command prompt, what you are using. So okay, once that's done now, just simply run python manage.py. Let's say run server. Okay, so currently my server is up and running, everything is fine. We just look, everything is fine now. So what we want to do now is this now. So we want to set up our templates. You guys, let's want to make sure our templates are ready, and it's our template and static files. You get, so right now, remember I have an app here called chat app. So this app is said I need to go register that app in my Django project. So I'm going to go down to my send.py file. I'm going to register this app called chat app. Just scroll down where we have installed apps. So just here, enter and then pass in. So we're going to put in chat app. So give me some time there. So it's called chat app. So that's done. So once we've done this now, let's go set up our views and URLs instance. So go down to your app go down to your chat app there, open the views.py file. So I'm going to put 3 views there. I'm going to call, let's say the first one is going to be the index view. I'm going to call it requests instance. So I'm going to simply return render. I'm going to say requests. And name of my, and then let's go. I'm going to create my HTML files first. Let's go do that now. Instead of my chat app, I'm going to create a folder called templates. So this folder is going to hold all my template files. Understand templates. So instead of the folder, I'm going to create another file called chat app, which is the name of our app. I'm going to call that. I'm going to say chat app. Enter. So that's done. Once that has been done now, so I'm going to create 3 template files. I'm going to say index.html. I'm going to say the other one is going to be called signup.html. That's our registration form. I'm going to say signup.html. The next one is going to be called signin.html. That's going to be our login form. I'm going to say signin.html. And then I think that's all for now. So let's work with these 3. So go down to views.py file. So for the index view, I'm going to simply return request. I'm going to say chat app, and I'm going to say slash index.html. And once that's done, I'm going to pass in the context. I'm going to define my context up here. It's going to be an empty dictionary at first. It's going to be empty. So that was it for the index view. I'm going to create my sign up form, my sign up view rather. I'm going to say request, and then I'm going to say return render, and I'm going to say request again, and then I'm gonna say chat app slash, what was it called? I'm gonna say sign up .html. I'm gonna pass in the context also, context, and then I'm gonna declare an empty dictionary for the context for now. So now I'm gonna simply just copy this to make things faster. Ctrl C, we'll paste down here, Ctrl Z. Let's copy, Ctrl C, paste. Now we're gonna call this sign in, and I'm gonna simply return signin.html. So that's it now. So once we've done this now, next thing for us to do now, we need to go create our URL pattern. Let's go create our URLs for this views instead. So inside of my chat app, I'm going to create inside of the chat app folder, I'm going to create a new file called urls.py. So once that's done now, so for me, I'm going to say from Django.urls, I'll simply import paths. And I'm going to also import my views module. I'm going to say from dots, I'm going to say import views. And then lastly, I'm going to declare a variable called URL patterns. It's going to be equal to, I'm going to say paths. And then I'm going to say for the home page, there's going to be an empty path. I'm going to say views.index. I'm going to give it a name value called, I'm going to give it a name, and the value is going to be index. I'm going to say index, and then once that's done, I'm going to do the same thing for my sign up. I'm going to call it sign up. The views is going to be called views.signup. Remember, views.signup, and then name is going to be equal to sign up. You get. And lastly, do the same thing for my sign in. So it's going to be called sign in. The views also called sign in, and then hotness, going to call it sign in. So this is it now. So we are not done yet, so we need to go register our URLs.py file inside of our Django project to get. So come down to your Django project now called ChatGPT. So open the URLs.py file there, and then we need to register our apps URL.py file inside of the project URL.py file. So I'm going to just say path. I'm going to just put in an empty string there, and I'm going to say include. I'm going to say chat app .urls. You need to import this include keyword. It's important. So once we've done that already, we're not done yet. Let's see if everything is working fine. So I'm going to go down to each of these templates now. Each of them, I'm going to just simply put in some text there. I'm going to say each one. Let me just say h1. I said h1. So I'm going to say index. Let me just paste this in all the sign-in page. I'm going to just paste this here. I'll say sign in. So it's sending for my sign up page, paste that there, and I'll say sign up. So I think everything should work now. So let's go down to our browser. So now, first of all, I'm going to currently I have this one running, the one I did before. And let me just pause it. So come back to this one we're working on now. So I'm going to open this right now. Open. So right now I can see on the index page, if you go down to slash sign up, you go down to slash sign in, everything is working. So now I'm going to put in the actual content there now, sign in. Perfect. So now everything is working. Our views and URLs have been configured properly. So the next thing for us to do now is go get the actual template files. So right now I'm going to copy the actual template files now for my sign in. I'm going to copy it now. So I have everything done already. Let me just go copy to make things faster for us. Okay, this is where it comes from. This is my index.html index page. I'm going to say Ctrl A, Ctrl C. I've copied it. Come over here for my sign in for my index page. I'm going to simply just Ctrl A, then paste everything there, paste there. Don't worry, I'm going to give you guys the source code. Don't worry about how things are looking. So once we've done this already, for our sign in page, we're going to do the same thing too. So currently I'm going to copy what we have here. I think I'm here. So I'm going to copy this. Ctrl A, Ctrl C. Come over here and we paste it. Okay, now we have our HTML code. I'm copying the HTML code. So our sign up page, and I'm going to do the same thing for it. Control A, Control C. So we'll simply paste here. Okay, so everything is fine now. Go down to the browser now, refresh this page. Oh, okay, it's looking ugly. I'm gonna simply, we've not added the styles yet. Let's say sign up, looking ugly. It's fine. Let's say index, looking ugly. We've not added our styles yet, but everything is there, so that's perfect. So next now we need to go add our static files to make everything look beautiful. Okay, so right now it's time for us to add our static files again. So right now if we check closely, you can see we have 3 files for our index page. We have the start.css, we have the bootstrap.me.css, and we also have the custom.css. You understand? So we need to go create these files and then add them up. You get? So okay, I'm going to go down to my chat app now. Inside of the chat app, I'm going to create a new folder called static. I'm going to say static, and in this folder I'm going to create another folder called CSS. I'm going to have 3 folders. I'm going to have 2 folders there. I'm going to call this one CSS. I'm also going to create a folder called JS for my JavaScript files. You understand? I want to start writing JavaScript again. So JS. Now, so right now now I have my CSS file. That's nice. I'm going to create these 3 files. I'm going to create styles.css, bootstrap.me.css, and then custom.css. So for the first, I'm going to simply just say styles.css. Done. So second one is called, what is it called again? Bootstrap.me.css. Okay. Let me just say bootstrap .me.css, and lastly other one is called custom.css. So now that is it now. So one thing is this, now I already have my styles on my on the practice project, so I'm going to simply just copy from there and then paste here. Hope you get now. So before we okay, let me just go get them, copy and paste for each of them. Okay, so I've copied in the styles now for the 3. I've copied in the code for the 3 styles for the 3 CSS files. Remember, we have 3 of them for now. We have the bootstrap.me, we have the custom.css, and we also have the styles.css. So I've copied each of them. I've copied in the code for each of them. Don't worry, I'm going to provide you guys with the source code. It's not difficult at all. So I've done this already. So once we've done this now, we're not done yet. We need to go down to our settings.py file and then add one more configuration. So just scroll down to where we have static, which is just this point now. So I'm going to add a line. I'm going to just say static files underscore dir underscore there should be equal to, I'm going to say the base directory slash the name of our folder. Our folder is called static, right? Okay, I don't think this is necessary. Sorry, it's not necessary because this is not necessary because our static folder is inside of the app called chat app. Since it's inside of an app, we don't need to add this variable again. I don't think so. Sorry for that. This is just redundant code. It's not necessary. Because once we've done this now, let's go down to our let's go down to the index file for now. We're working on that for now. So just here, I'm gonna just make changes. I'll simply just style this the proper Django way. Our folder is called, our folder is called static. Remember, let me just copy this, Ctrl X, paste here. Before I paste in there, put it inside of a, okay, and I'm gonna put in static here. That's the name of our folder, static. Okay, I'll do the same thing. Parentheses, then single quotes, then this percent sign, and I'll copy these guys and paste in between the percent symbol, and then I'll pass in static here. The same thing for the last file also. Put in there the single quotes, then the percent symbol, copy, cut, and then we paste here, and then static. Don't worry about these other links are for the font awesome icons we have on the page. These links helps with the font awesome icons. Don't worry about it. It is not any, you get, so that's what it does there. Okay, so last we need to come over up top here, and then we need to load up static. We need to load static, it's important. I'm gonna say load and then static. Okay, so once I've done this already, oh, everything works now. Let's run server and see if everything works. The server is coming up. Okay, let's see. Refresh. Okay. Not perfect yet. Okay, it's not looking good yet. Now I'm going to see what the problem is right now. Okay, I think I copied the code from the wrong place. Sorry for that. I shall copy it from here. Let me just copy from here. Control A, Control C. Let's go paste here. I guess I copied from the wrong place. Just paste. Oh, everything works this time. Let's see. So I'll simply uncomment this. Oh, let me just remove the comments. So let's see. Refresh the page. Ouch. Okay. I need to go back here and then add these styles again. Let me just pause the video and add it again. Okay, I think the issue is, let's try and add reload the page. Let's try and add reload the page and see if things are not working fine on your end. I want to add refresh this page right now. Just put down Control F5. So right now what I just did is this. I simply, something was commented in the body here. Before, this was not showing. This part wasn't showing, right? It was commented out. So I had to remove the comments. It's showing now. So right now, let's add refresh the page. Go down Control and then press F5. If you're on Windows, Control F5 should refresh your page. If you're on Mac, it should be Command F5. So Control F5. Let's see. Oh, still not working. Okay, so I've checked now. I think I've seen the error. If you check closely, it says not found. It can't find this file called custom.css. And if you check closely here, I didn't put this inside of the quotes. This is not well done, I guess. So I'm going to remove this quote again and then add it properly. This is the cause of the problem. I have added, once it's added now, go down to the browser again, refresh this page, everything should be fine. Just enter, refresh. Okay, add reload this time. It's still not working. Let's see what the problem is. We're going to get this thing. I'm going to do it together. Like I said, custom CSS / custom.css is still complaining. Okay, I think I found the problem. This should be outside. It should be, I think I found the issue. Paste here. Okay, that's my mistake. Sorry for the delays. I'm really sorry. Enter. Should work now. Okay, perfect. Now you can see we have the page looking the way it's all to. You understand? So everything is working now. So the next thing for us to do next, we want to go style we need to go style the login page and also the registration page. If we go down to your sign up, as you can see, not looking good at all, right? So let's go style this also. So I'm going to copy the styles for these pages also and paste in, and then it's going to change up everything. So let's go create the files. I can't remember what I called it. So let's go create the files for this. So the first one is going to be, let me see what I called it. So for the login page, where are you? It has some sign up page, has a file called signup.css. So I'm going to create this file in my static folder called signup.css. Sorry, signup.css now. Let's say new file, signup.css. And then for the login page, what's it called? Let's check what it's called. Let me clear some of this stuff. For my login page, I think it's called login.css. Okay, that's fine. Over here, so new file, login.css. So I'm going to copy the styles for these two pages and then paste in there. I will come and see how it looks like. Don't worry, I'll give you guys the source code, and don't forget to subscribe to Code with Clinton for more interesting tutorials like this. So right now I've copied in the files. Now. Let's see how it looks like. Refresh the sign up page. Oh, sorry, I forgot to link it the proper way. Go down to your sign.html, to your sign-in page. You need to link it the way we did before. Put in the parentheses there, and then okay. So now we've been able to add the styles the proper way, and then don't forget to load up your static. And don't forget to load up static on top of your template. Do the same thing for your sign.html also. Don't forget to load up your static. Don't forget to load up static on top, and then link it properly. Very important. So the browser. Let's refresh. Okay, well, not looking good enough. Control F5. I was wrong. It's not looking good enough. Okay, I think I know what the problem is. Control F5. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I closed the page. I'm gonna reopen. Ouch. Reopen close tab. Let's try sign in. Ouch, not looking good itself. Let's see. Okay, that's because I forgot to also link this CSS file. There are two. Each of the template has two CSS files. You understand? For the sign in and the sign up, they both have two CSS files. I forgot to link this other one. That's why the styles aren't applied. So I'm going to link it up right now. So right now, I think they've been linked now. I hope it works this time. So the browser. Let's refresh, enter. Perfect. So for the other page, what is it called? Sign up. Perfect. So they're looking good now. We have our index page looking cute. The sign up and the sign in page also looking good. So let's say first do now. We want to go and work on authentication. We want to enable users sign up, log in, and then they can access the index page, which is this. If you're not logged in, you can't access. I think it's not this page, is it? Okay, this is the page here. So okay, yeah, it's it here. So if you're not logged in, you can't access this page again. So let's go work on that right now. So right now, users need to sign up. So let's go do that right away. Okay, just here now, I'm going to create a new file instead of my chat app. I'm going to call this file forms.py. I'm going to say forms.py. So once this has been done, I think it has been created. So just up here, I'm going to say from Django, I'm going to simply import forms. What am I doing? Import forms. Oh, sorry. And then I'm going to import the user creation form. I'm going to say import user creation form. And I'm also going to import the user model. I'm going to say import user. So done. Once I've done that already now, so I'm going to come here and say, I'm going to call this, I'm going to say user form. I'm going to simply inherit from user creation form. I'm going to say class meta. The model should be equal to user. Right now we're trying to build the user registration form. You get model should be equal to user, and the field should be equal to, I'm going to say username, I'm going to say email, I'm going to say password 1 and then password 2. Password 2. Okay, that's done. So right now I need to import this form into my views.py file. So I'm going to say from .forms, I need to import user form. I think that's it. User form. So now in the sign up, so now right now in my sign up page, I'm going to say form should be equal to user form. User form. So now I'm going to pass this. I'm going to pass this into the context form. Okay, now. So this is done. So this is my this is the registration form now. So now let's go down to our sign up, go down to your sign up page, your sign up.html. So now what I'm going to do now is simple. So I'm going to clear out all these fields you see here as static field. I'm going to clear out all this field. I only need one of the field for now. Only one of it. I can simply just comment it out. Okay, now just here now, I'm going to just come here and say, I'm going to say for field and form, for field and form. So let's paste this kind of the for loop, paste here, and then we're going to just pass in field here. We're going to just pass in field. So this field represents the input field, the input field you see there. So let's see what it looks like to the page, the browser. Go down to your sign up page, refresh. Oh, it says first statement. It says I made a mistake in my for loop. For field, okay, move this other in there. Okay, let's see. Refresh the page once more. You can see this is our form now. It's looking ugly. So now I want to go add some styles to the form. So now I want to go down to your forms.py. So I'm going to start each of these fields individually. I'm going to come over here and say username should be equal to, I'll just say forms. I'm going to do the first one for you, forms.char field. I'm going to just then pass in the widgets should be equal to forms.text input. So I'm trying to style this form text input, and that's going to be equal to, so it's called forms.text input. And then we're going to pass in the attributes, Ctrl Z. I'm going to say should be equal to, and I'm going to just say class, and I'm going to say form control. This class is coming from Bootstrap. If you check closely, form control. So I'm trying to style the input field you get. So now let me see what it looks like. So the browser, refresh this page. Oh, okay, my server is still running. Oh, my server is down. Attributes, form control. What did I make mistake? I think I made a mistake there. Okay, let's see. Okay, it works now. There was no error actually. Just that I had to rerun my server again. After rerunning my server, the error disappeared. Right now, because my form has been styled. This input field has been styled, right? But you can see now, I also want to add a placeholder, like something like enter username. So let's go do that right away. So come over here and just put in the comma there and say placeholder, place_holder, and I'll say enter username. So now, see my server didn't catch the changes. So let's run the server again. Okay, how everything works. Right now, you can see our placeholder there. So now we're going to start the other fields now. So I'll just simply copy, Ctrl, paste this for email field. Let's put it for the email field. So come over here. I'm going to say email. I hope there's something called email input. Okay, there is. And then I'm going to just come over here and say enter email address, and lastly I'm going to do the same thing for our password field. Password 1, form.char field. Then I'm going to call this password input, form.password input out. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to say enter password. And then lastly for password 2, password 2 should be equal to, I'm going to say forms dots. So I needed to, sorry, on my, let's paste. I'm going to call it password 2. Should have just copied this, Ctrl C, paste here. I'm going to call this password 2, and then I'm going to call this, I'm going to say confirm password, confirm confirm password. Let's run this again. Email input. Oh. So now let's run server again. Server is up and running to the browser. Fresh. Perfect. Everything is fine. Now, so right now we've been able to return. Our form. Next, now we need to undo the form submission. Understand? Right now our form is coming from the backend. So let's undo the form submission. So your views.py now. So I'll come over here and say if requests.method equal to posts, if it's a post request. So what do you want to do? I'm going to just say form should be equal to user form. And I'm going to simply just pass in requests.post, requests.post. And then I'm going to say if form is valid, if form dot is underscore valid. Say the form is valid now. I want to simply just say form.save. Form.save. After the form has been saved, I want to also simply redirect. I want to also log in this user and then redirect to the home page. So how do you go about that? So the next thing for us to do now is to log in the user once the user sign up. Once to also log them in. So how do you go about that? So we'll be able to save the form. So after saving the form now, okay, the next thing to do now, I want to get the value of this field, of this username field, of this field. How do I go about it? Go down to your page now. Let's see, to the sign up page. You find out that, so if I want to get, just simply inspect this, inspect it. Okay, it's coming up. You can see the name is called username, right? Username. I want to get this value called username up here. So to the browser, let me just close this now. Okay, so I'll come over here to my views.py. I'll just come over here and say, I'm going to say username should be equal to requests. So I want to get the value. Of this field. Understand? So I say should be equal to request.posts, and I'll say username. And also want to get the value of the password field, which is I'm going to say password should be. I want to get the value of this field, this enter password field. So I'm going to get the value, and I will just come over here and say requests.posts. Since it's got password 1, that should be the name. I'll say password 1. Okay, once this is done now, I want to then import. So I'm going to say import authenticates. Okay, I'm also going to import login from here. Login and then logouts. So I'm going to come over here and say user should be equal to authenticates. And I'm going to pass in requests. And I'll say username equal to this username we have here, equal to username. And I'm going to pass in password should be equal to this password we have here, equal to password. And then I'll say if user is not known, if user is not known, I'm going to simply log in the user. And once the user is logged in, I want to return the user to the home page. I'm going to say return redirect, and I'm going to say index. That's the home page. So I'm going to import redirects on top of the page. So once I've done this now, I think this is good now. So that's it now. So we're not done. So let's go see how everything will go down to your sign up page, to your sign-up.html. So on the form now, this is the form. We need to put in the method of posts, method posts. That should be equal to posts. And lastly, your CSRF token, CXRF underscore token. So that's it. So now let's see if everything works. Hope everything works now. We are not done. Let's undo the errors. Let's undo errors. So let's see if everything works. Let's run server. So now right now let's create a new user. So to the browser, refresh this page. Okay, so I'm going to call this user, I'm going to say John. I'm going to say john@gmail.com. Password. So create accounts. You throw an error. It says no such table auth user. So we need to migrate. You know, we've not migrated that's the issue. So let's run python manage.py migrate. You need to migrate to your database. Migrate now. Once you migrate, everything should be fine. So it's currently migrating. Let's wait for it to complete. Okay, migrating. Almost done. So now let's create a super user. Let me check if this is recording. Okay, let's create a super user. Create super user. So let me just say Clint. Okay. Okay, let's run server. And let's run again. Okay, so now everything should work now. If I refresh this page now, you should log in John. So I'm going to say John this time. John@gmail.com. Put in his password. Create account. So right now it's going to log in John. If John should be able to access the login page, that means John. So right now you can see John has logged in. So once you're logged in, you'll be able to access the home page. So let's confirm if John has. So go down to your index page. So once you're logged in, so I'm going to get the name of the logged in user on top here. Just right now we have a dummy data here. I'm going to just come over and say request.user. I'm going to say request. This is our index page. I'm going to say request.user.username. If I refresh this now, we're going to see John over here. Refresh. So this tells you that John is currently logged in. Understand? But we are not done yet. Understand? We are not done. So the next thing for us to do now is this. So during the course of John signing up, during the course of John trying to sign up, he might make a mistake during the sign up process. Understand? He might make a mistake in this form. So we need to also return an error message that tells you, okay, this user has made a mistake. So you need to have a way to tell the user that there is a mistake on the form. You understand? So now how do you go about that? Okay, so now I'll come over to my signup.html. Okay, these are the fields here. This is the field. Okay, I'll just come over here and say if field.errors, if there's an error on any of the field, if field.errors, errors, I'll just come over here and return a small. I'll just come over here and put in the field error, field.errors. Okay, so right now that's it. So I'm not done. Come over. So now if there's a mistake on the form, let's try and create a new user. I'm going to call Jane. I'm going to say Jane@gmail.com. I'm going to put in the wrong password. I'm going to put in different password and create account. Right now it tells you that this password does not match, right? It says this password field didn't match, right? So I want to make this red in color. Let's make this red. We just come over here. We just come here and just add the styles. Should be equal. Let's just say color should be red. So that's it. I think it should work this time. So that's it now. So it tells us the problem, right? It tells us the issue. If I try to snap with John again, if I try to use John again, let's say John@gmail.com. Remember, John already exists, so it's going to show me an error, tell me that user already exists. So I can't use the same username. Create the account. Because see, it says that username already exists. It gives me the appropriate error message I need. So that's it now. We are not done. So what I want to do now is I want to make sure that if you are logged in, I want to make sure you can access this page if you are logged in. So that's what I want to do. So let's see. So if you are logged in, here's the views of Wi-Fi. So I'll say if request.user is authenticated. If request.user is authenticated, I'll just simply return redirect to the index page. So if you are logged in, you should not be able to access the sign up page again. I'll do the same thing for my sign in page. Okay, so that's that. Perfect. So I think we're almost done. So right now I want to go down to my index page now. I want to also add a logout function just here. Just add this logout. So we've not made the function yet, so let's go add logout function. Okay, where are you? Please apply. Okay, so I'll just come over here and just say dev. I'm gonna say sign out. I'm just passing the request. I'll save it. I'm gonna just say logout. Sorry, logout. And I'll say requests, and then user. And once I logged out, I want to redirect it back to the sign in page. Redirect to sign up page. Return redirect. Return redirect. What am I doing? Return redirect. I'm gonna say, what was it called? Sign in. So we don't need user here. We just need the request. Okay, so right now, what am I to do? So what am I to do now? So remember, if I refresh this page now, I'm going to simply get down to my refresh this page. Okay, refreshed. Okay. I thought we had a logged in user here. Let me see if someone is actually logged in. John is logged in, right? But I want to make sure that I can access the sign up page. If you're not logged in, you should not be able, if you are logged in, you should not be able to access this page. So I thought I added a command over here. If request, wait, I had it again. Oh, let me cut Control X. I thought I added it here. Let me paste here, paste. So now come over. If you are logged in, you can't access the sign up page. So refresh this page now and see. Refresh and see. So if you are logged in, you can't access the sign up page. Let's try it again. Sign up. You can't access the page. We go down to sign in. If you are logged in, you can't access any of those pages. Sign in. You can access this page. Let's see. This is my. What am I doing? I need to also paste it here. Okay, now refresh the page now. So if you are logged in, you can't. So if you are logged in, you can't access the sign-in page, and you can't also access the sign-up page. You understand? So everything is fine now. So I want to add my, what was it called? I want to add my logout function. My log. Where is he? Where are you again? Ouch. My index page. So I'm going to add a logout here. So let's go. I'm going to create a URL mapping for my sign out function. So what's more the views again? I think I called it sign out. Okay, URL, where are you? I'm just copy this, Ctrl C and paste, and then sign out. Views or sign out, and then sign out to the browser. Refresh. So click on this now. Oh, sure happened. I said return redirect. Let's see the views of Wi-Fi. Return redirect. sign in. What's happening? So now let's try again. I think I didn't add the appropriate URL. Go down to your index page. Oh, it's empty. That's my problem. That's been my error. So we're gonna just pass in. We're gonna say URL. Now say sign out. So now to the browser. Let me slim this down. So the browser now, refresh the page. Oh, you say we've asked for sign out not found. Sign out is not a valid view function or pattern name. So let's check why it says that. Okay, we're going to say URLs. This is sign out. Let's spell it wrongly. We called it sign out. Ctrl C. Let me copy it in case. Down to my index page. Why is it rejecting it? Let's try one more time. Wow, see, reverse for sign out not found. What would have been the problem? Okay, it works now. It works now. To run out to restart my server, and it works. Understand? But we're not done yet. So one thing is this now. I want to make sure that you can. Right now, nobody is logged in. If I go down to the home page, to the index page. This is the index page. No one is logged in. I want to make sure that if you are not logged in, you can't access this page. If you're not logged in, you can't access this page. You check currently, and I can see nobody is logged in. There is no username here. So let's add that now. So over here. So I'm going to go down to my view function. So I'm going to import this. I'm going to import a decorator called login required. Login required. Let's import this decorator. So it has been imported now. So I'm going to add that on this index page. I'm going to say at login required. So I'm going to say login URL. I'm going to pass in the login URL. Login underscore URL should be equal to. That means that if you're not logged in, you can't access this page. So if you're not logged in, you'll be redirected back to the sign in page. If you're not logged in, you'll be redirected to the sign in page. Sign in. So that's it now. To the browser. Let's just run the server. I don't know why my server is not responding today. So let's run server again. Hope my server comes up as soon as. Okay, server is up again. Refresh this page. So if you're not logged in, you can't be here. So you're going to always be redirected back to this sign-in page. Hope you understood. So if you don't have an account, you can easily click on this link and then you create an account for yourself. So I'm going to add a link over here. Let's add a sign up page. I'm going to add a link to the sign up page on that. Let's go to that over here. Just here. I think it's here. So let's add it here. So I'm going to say URL. Now just passing sign up. I'll do the same thing for the. Come over here. Just scroll down. We have a sign in. Just here, paste the same thing here. I'm gonna pass in sign in. So I think we are almost done. If I click here now. Okay, click here now. You can say perfect. Okay, now so what's the next thing for us to do now? Next thing for me to do now is to make sure that right now my login page is not working. You can't log in from here. Well, you can log in if you create an account. So let's make sure this page is also working because it's also important. So let's do that right away. So to my view.py file, I'll just simply copy this part of the code. I'll copy this part of the code, Ctrl C, because it's the same logic for my login. It's the same logic for the login. Let me just. Okay, so now that's the same logic for login. So I'm going to have an error. So in case there's an error, I want to also have something to output on the page. So I'm just going to declare a variable here. I'm going to just call it error. I'm going to say should be equal to none. So if the form is not valid, I want to just simply send with. So I'm going to change the value of this variable to invalid credentials. I'm going to say invalid credentials. So if I'm correct, sorry, it should be equal to invalid credential. I'm going to pass this to the context. That's our error. Okay, so I'm going to just say error there. Okay, so once I've done this now, what's the next step? So I'm going to pass this to my signing.html page. I'm going to pass this to my signing.html. Okay, is it here? Over here now, just on top of the form, I'm going to just simply say if error. So if there's an error, I'm going to simply pass that here. I'm going to just put in a paragraph tag. Put in a paragraph tag there. And I'll simply pass error. And I'm going to create a color of red. I'm going to say style should be equal to color red. Perfect. So let's try logging in with the wrong credentials right now. I'm going to just, oh, what was wrong? Says username. Go down to your views of Wi-Fi, see your views. We throw an error. First of all, I remembered something. We should only call these variables if there is a post request. So I'm going to say if requests method method. What am I doing? Is equal to posts. Okay, if it's a post request, so I'll simply pass all this under. And once I need to be sure of this. Let's refresh this page. My server is coming back. Ouch. Is there any problem? Let's run the server again. Okay, it's back up. The browser refresh. So I want to get a name. Let's see the name, the value of the name attribute of this field. Go down to your index.html, to your signing.html. Oh, there is no, it doesn't have a name attribute, right? So I'm going to add that attribute. I'm going to say name should be equal to username. So I'm going to pass the same thing here. I'm going to say name should be equal to password. So the browser now, to our view.py, I'm going to change this to password. Everything should be fine now. Refresh. Okay, now I'm going to use a wrong credentials now. Something wrong. Login. Okay, sorry. We need to also come over here and make this a post, a method of posts. Necessary. And then passing your CSRF token. If I'm making a post request, you need to always pass in your CSRF token. Okay, I'm going to refresh again, and let's try one more time, and then login. You can see it says invalid credentials. So I'm going to try John now. Remember John. I'm going to put in his correct password, and then login. Right now, John is logged in. And if I log out, John has been brought back here. You can see instead. So right now, I think we are done with our authentication. So the next thing now is to go down to, next thing for us to do now is to start using the OpenAI API to build our ChatGPT clone. So we are done with authentication. Let's go now to the next phase. Hey guys, so our next goal is for us to be able to send whatever value we pass into this field to the backend. Understand? We want to send whatever value we pass this input field to the backend, and once we have the field at the backend, we can then be able to process this prompt and then get a response from OpenAI. You understand? But the goal right now is to be able to send whatever value you pass to this field to the backend. So let's do that right away. So right now I'm going to go down to my code and I'm going to create a new JavaScript file. I'm going to go down to my static folder. I'm going to create a new file called custom.js. New file, I'm going to say custom.js. So this is the file now. So I need to make sure I link this file to my index.html. Let's link the file there. Okay, so I'm going to, okay, we already have a script.js file. And this file we have here is mainly for the responsiveness of this page. If I come over here, if I click back, you can see the file is not being linked. It has not been linked. So I need to go down there and link this file the right way. Okay, come over here. I forgot. I should have done this earlier. So let's just put it here. Just copy this. Ctrl X, paste here. And I'm going to say static. Oh, I made a mistake. I'm going to copy everything. Ctrl X, paste, and then static. And then, okay, this is it now. I guess this file is empty. This is the file, yeah. Let me create the file. I'm going to call it style.js. So I need to go copy the content of this file from my previous. Let me copy the contents. Ctrl A, Ctrl C. Okay, I'll paste here. So hope everything should work now. Refresh, add reload. Hope it works. Refresh this page. Still not working. Okay, I'll check it later, but let's continue. Okay, I've seen the issue. I call this style instead of which have been called scripts. Rename is called scripts.js. Should be scripts.js. Scripts.js. Okay, that was a mistake I made. Refresh. Okay, perfect. It's working. Okay, it's working. So now we're going to come down here. Remember, I already have another file called custom.js. So now let me close all this to avoid distractions. Let's focus on one. So I have my custom.js here. Instead, so I need to link it to my index.html. I'm just going to copy this, Ctrl C, and paste. Now I'll call this custom.js. So now in this file, now I'm going to simply just come here and say console.log. I'm going to say hello everyone, or hello world. I'll say hello YouTube, hello, and then let's see if it works. Down to your page now, refresh. Let's go down to the console, F12 on your PC, F12. We're going to see the console. Okay, oh, it's not connected. This one is coming. This you have to work is coming from scripts.js. But right now I added, because right now we can't see this custom.js. I don't know why. I'll find out right now. Okay, now it works. I simply had to refresh the page by using Ctrl F5. You can see right here I have hello YouTube. It's coming from this page, our custom.js. That means that's to tell you that our JavaScript file has been successfully linked to this index.html file. So let's go on. So what I want to do now, I want to make sure I want to get this form. I want to get this form field. I want to get this form field again. So how do you want to go about that? So I'm going to open this on the split right. So I'll close this for now. Okay, so now I want to get the form field, this field over here. So let's go about. I'm going to say let form equal to. I'm going to say document query selector. I'm going to say document.query selector. I'm going to select the form based on its class name. I'm going to say .submit form. .submit form. So after I've done this now, I'm going to make this form field. Okay, the form field is already required. It's required. So if I click on this field now without providing a value, it's going to tell me please fill out this field. Like I said, I can't submit this form if there is no value. So now I have this form already. So I'm going to add a submit event to this form. I'm going to say form.add event listener. Form.add event listener. I'm going to say submit. So submit now, and I'm going to just say, I'm going to call this function submit form. Submit form. So I'm going to call it, I'm going to say function submit form. I'm going to pass in the event argument there. I'm going to call it E. I'm going to just over here, I'm going to say console.log. I'm going to say form is submitting. Form is submitting. Remember, whenever you're submitting a form, the default thing is that whenever I click on this submit form, if I come over here, if I put in a value there and I click submit, you can see the page reloads. So I want to avoid this reloading. I want to avoid it. So how do I avoid? I'm going to come up there and say e.prevent default. So it's going to prevent the page from reloading. E.prevent default. So okay, so now if I come over here now, try and submit the form again, refresh the page, put in some value there. If you don't put in any value, it's going to ask you to fill out the field. So I'm going to put some value, submit the form again. Let's see what it gives us. And the page reload. Let's see. Okay, to the browser. Let's see. It's F12. You can see it says form is submitting. Perfect. So then what I want to do now is I want to make sure I want to get the value I pass to this form. Whatever value I pass here, I want to send that value to the backend for processing. So I want to send the value to the backend, and from the backend I can send the value to OpenAI for me to get a response. Hope you get. So let's do it right away. So I'm going to create this backend view. So let's create the view that is going to accept this data I want to send. So I'm going to create this view. I'm going to call this view now. I'm going to call it. I'm going to say get value. It's getting value from the form. Get value. So I'm going to say request, and then I'm going to just simply, I'm going to return a JSON response this time. So we're going to return a JSON response. JSON response. What's that? And I'll say it's working. It is working. So now I'm going to pass in it's working. I'm going to say safe is equal to false, and I'm going to also import JSON response at the top. Import JSON response. Okay, so that's done. When that has been done, we need to go down there. We need to go make sure we create a URL mapping for this view. URL. So is the right way. So I'll come over here and I'll just say path. I'm going to just say get value. Remember, we are getting the value from the front end. From the front end, I'm going to call this view. I'm going to say views dot. You know what the function is called? Get value, right? Okay. So this is it now. Perfect. Alright, so now I'm going to use the fetch API. So I'm going to use the fetch. I'm going to go over here and search for fetch API. Click on this. Okay, sync you are there. Click on the first link. Click on the first link. Am I on the right place? I really hope so. Okay, I'm on the right place. So click on using the fetch API. Click on uploading JSON data. So I will just copy this part of the code. Don't worry, I'm going to explain everything step by step to you guys. It's not a big deal at all. It's simple, super simple. Don't worry about this stuff. So pasted here. So I'm going to explain. So right now we want to send the value. From our front end to the back end instance. So what do we want to send? So now right now, so So right now, this is a function called post.json. So this function can be called whatever name you want, you understand? So this function is responsible for taking the value of our form field, of this form field here, and then sending this value to the backend for processing. You understand how this function does post.json. So right now, I'm going to create a value called, I'm going to say const, I'm going to say URL. So right now I want to declare the URL I want to send my data to. So that URL is what we have here. It's called get value, right? I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to copy get value. This is the URL I want to use. Come over here and I'll pass that here. / paste it. So this is a URL I want to send my data to. So right now this data you see here is representing this form field. The value in this form field. Yes, that's what it's representing. So let's continue. So that was it's representing. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to simply passing this URL over here. I'm going to remove this one we have there. I'm going to say URL, the one we have. URL. Okay, perfect now. So remember, it's going to, what am I doing? Sorry, URL. This is wasting time. Sorry for the time. It's URL. So remember, this is a post request. Understand? So remember, this data we have here is coming from here. You understand? And right now, this function, this is the function. Now, this part of the function is responsible for sending this code to the backend, for sending our data to the backend for processing. And if everything goes well, this part of the code here, runs. If everything goes well, this part of the code, the one I highlighted, runs. And if there's an error, this part of the code runs. Hope you get. That's how it is. First of all, this try block is responsible for sending our data from the front end to the back end. And if everything is perfect, this part of the code runs. And if there's a problem, this catch block runs. You understand? We are not done yet. So right now we want to call this function called post.json inside of this submit form function. Instead, we want to call it inside of this submit form function. So we're going to cut this part of the function and then paste inside here. You understand? Remember, I said our data is what I said data represents, what was it called again? Our data represents the value of this form. Whenever you see this data you see here, that's what it means, the value of the form. So what do we mean by the value of the form? So right now, I need to go down and select that form field, that input field. This is the field over here. This is the field. I'm going to give the field an ID. I'm going to call it, let me just call it input. Okay. I just call it input underscore value. So that's the ID. So go down to your, I'm going to go down to the custom.js file. I'm going to select that field now. I'm going to select the field and I'm going to say let's input equal to document.query selector dot query selector. I'm going to simply just say input, put in the ID symbol and then input underscore value. So this is done. Once it has been done, come over here. Okay, just here. I'll just say msg. This is I'm going to declare a variable now. I'm going to say let's msg equal to input. Remember, what I did here is just selecting the input field. It's just selecting the whole of the field. This input field. There's an input field inside of this. This is the form. There's an input field inside here. So what I'm selecting, what I did here is selection of that input field. And what I want to do now is I want to get the value of the input field over here. I'm going to say input underscore value. Remember, this is the, okay, I'm going to say input dot value. It's going to give me the value of the input field. Hope you get. I was going to give me, and I'm going to come over here. So my data now is going to be equal to, my data is going to be, I'm going to just come over here and say, let me call this message, and I'm come over here and put msg should be equal to message. Hope you understood. So So hope you get what happened. I'm going to explain again right now. So first of all, how to select how to select this form, how to select the form, this form we have here, how to select the form. Selection of the form is what is happening up here. So let me just, the form of me selected over here. I want the form of me selected, how to add a submit event on the form. Whenever the form is submitted, this function over here gets executed. Understand? And I said earlier before, we have this function here responsible for sending this form data to the backend. Hope you understood. And this function is called whenever this function is called whenever this function is submitted. You understand? So this function can only execute. This function is called inside of this submit form. You understand? And you get, that's how it works now. Hope you get now. So that is how it is now. Remember, as I said, the message is going to be, this message value we have here is the information inside of the input field. You understand? What I have here, message equal to input.value, and then this data is what we are sending to the backend. This data, you can see the data we have, the data came from here, is there from here up here, then we have that same data here. Understand? And that data was now then passed when this function is called. You understand? Our data is an object. This is the key. This is the actual value called message. Understand? So that's it now. So now whenever we submit our form, our submit form gets executed, and instead of that submit form, we are calling this function that sends our data to the backend. Hope you get. And one more thing we need to understand now is that we are making a post request. This is Django. We need to also provide our CSRF token. But there's a different way of doing that right now. I'm going to show you now. Go down to the browser. I'm going to say Django Ajax CSRF token. Copy. Open. Click on this first link. So I'll just scroll down. Copy this entire code. This first function, Ctrl C. Just go to the top of your page now, top of your file, top of your page. Paste it there. Remove this console.log, it's not needed again. Paste it there. So once we've done that already, right now we are going to pass in the actual CSRF token. This is it here. Just copy, Ctrl C, this recording, and paste it here. Yeah, just under this content type. Okay, now so this is it now. I said now let's try if everything is going well. The browser, let's run server. Okay, so let's test our work and see how far. So the browser, refresh. So now, okay, we're gonna say, how are you? Click on send. So go down to your console, let's see if everything works well. You can see right now it says it is working. This message you see here is coming from our views.py. It's coming from here. It is working. I told you before that this try block we have up here is responsible for sending our data from the front end to the back end. And if everything goes well, this other block you see here gets executed. Understand? This, it is working, is actually this result you have here. This result you see here is actually this. It is working. We have here. Hope you get. And that's why if you check closely, we have to now console it out. We say success and then results. Remember, our result we have here is this. It is working. So if you check the browser now, you can see we have success and then it is working. Hope you get. So what's the next step? The next step for us to do now is this. Now, I want to make sure whenever we submit our form, I want to make sure that want to set this page to blank, and then we want to only have these pop-ups on the page. You understand? So I'm going to show what I'm talking about right now. So this is it here. So now, as I said before, okay, I'm going to simply go down to my index.html now. So I want to pick up those. I want to pick up these two items, this heading and this box, and it's time to pick them up. So come over here. This first one is called H1. This is the H1 here, and then this box of contents here. This is the container. The container is called bot feature container. So let's go ahead now. Let's get this H1 and this div. Let's get them now on our JavaScript. So I'm gonna come over here and say, let's heading equal to, I'm gonna say document.query selector, document.query. I can just give this guy an ID, or I'm gonna say ID should be equal to, I'm gonna just say main header. I'm gonna say main, and I'm gonna say header. And just come over here now, pick that now, say let's heading, or let's header. Heading be equal, I'm gonna say query selector, and I'm gonna get it by the ID. I'll say the ID is called main header, and also get this container that holds those boxes, this bot feature container. I'm going to simply just copy the class name over here. Now say let's bot container bot underscore container equal to document dot query selector. That's a class name. I'm going to say dot, and I'll paste this now. So what I'm doing now is, if everything goes well, I want to simply clear out these two components. Okay, let's do this right now. So I'll come over here, heading and bot container. Under this, just under this result, I'm going to say heading dot style, heading dot style dot display should be equal to, I'm going to say none. And the same thing for our bot container. I'll say bot container dot style dot display should be equal to none. So we won't see them again on the page whenever we submit our form. So we're not done. So I'll say how are you, or submit. Boom, they are gone, right? So now we're about to get our responses, right? So but I'm not done yet. So what I want to do now is I want to make sure I append this guy. This right now, this is me, the logged in user. This is ChatGPT on the second line. So I want to make sure I append this guy to the container. So I'm going to show what I'm talking about right now. So just here, I'm going to simply pick up this class called container fluid2, and I'm going to simply then, what am I going to do? I'm going to just get, what am I looking for? Okay, I'm going to simply append this chat container into this container fluid. Hope you get. That's what I want to do. Understand? So right now, I'll simply just copy, and that's what I want to do now. If I refresh the page now, if I say how are you, you can see the page is empty. That's because I've commented it out. So right now, what I want to do now is I'll simply select this container class. Where are you? Container fluid2. I'll simply pick it up, and then I'll simply append this guy I commented into that container. This is how we do it here. I'll come over here and say let's container equal to documents.query selector, documents.query selector, and I'll say container fluid2, right? Container, make sure you get the spelling correct, if not it won't work. Container fluid-2, okay? Container fluid-2. Okay, after I've done this now, I've gotten it now. So remember, this is the success session. If everything goes well, this part of the code runs. That's where we are. So let's go over here and say container dot inner HTML. I'm gonna say plus equal to. I'm gonna pass in, yeah, what I copied. Yeah, this is it here. So let's see if it goes. Refresh the page. So I'm gonna just come over here and say, oh yes, what is a computer? So submit. Perfect. If I come over here and say what is a computer and processor, you can see it keeps appending. Right? So what I want to do next, I want to make sure that whenever I submit, I want to set this to blank, this field to blank. So I think I call the name here input. I'll come over here and say, I could just come here and say input dot value should be equal to none. Should be equal to nothing, an empty string rather. The browser, refresh. If I say what's the computer again, if I click, you can see the field is empty. Perfect. So we are not done yet. I want to also add a loading state here that tells me, that says loading. So if I submit this form, you're going to keep on saying loading till the form, till the request has been sent successfully. You understand? So let's do that right away. So this is it here. So let me scroll down to where I have the loading. So right now, this is the loading form. This is the loading. This is the spinner, the loading spinner over here. What I want to do now is this. So on default, this spinner is set to none, so you can't see it. Instead, I'm going to select the spinner right now. I'm going to select the spinner by its class name called spinner main. I'm going to select the spinner right now, just on top here. I'll say let spinner equal to documents dot get elements, sorry, dot query selector. I'm going to say spinner hyphen main. Okay. Okay. So, and I'll come over here. At this point here, where you made the request, I'll simply set I'll simply have to set. So right now, when we submit the form, I'm going to set spinner to display. We're going to see spinner on the page. I'm going to say spinner to display flex. I'm going to say spinner dot style dot display. I'm going to say equal to flex. So if everything works well, I'm going to hide the spinner again. That spinner is that loading bar you see, that loading, that's that stuff that rolls. So so I'm going to further forward. I got my spinner up here. On default, the spinner is set to none. You can't see it. So whenever I submit the form, I set my spinner up here to flex. So if the form was submitted successfully, just at the bottom here, I'm going to simply hide the spinner again. I'll say spinner dot style dot display should be none, equal to none. Okay, let's see. So the browser, refresh. Also, it's a computer. Submit. Right, I can see our spinner. It's rolling. Why is it taking time? There's an issue already, I guess so. Shouldn't have taken this much time. Okay, try an error. Okay, let's see what the problem is. Spinner. Oh, I spelled the start of display wrongly. I spelled star wrongly. Refresh this page once more. So let's try and say, what's the computer this time? Send. You can see it doesn't take time, right? It doesn't take time. Refresh. Try again. How are you? It loads. The spinner, you see the spinner, just watch carefully. You can see it was there. Sharply. Okay, now everything is almost working fine. So right now I want to go and contact OpenAI so that I can use their API to get things working. So let's do that right away. So right now we have to go down to OpenAPI. Let's search for it and then create an account on OpenAPI, openapi.com. So let's see. Okay, now so you have to create an account. So I already have an account. I'll simply log in with my own account. So for you, you have to go in there, create an account for yourself, and then you're good to go. So I'm going to simply log in. Okay, once you're logged in, click on API, this API session here. Okay, click on API, this third box. Once you're there, you can click on documentation. Click on it. For example, you need to get your API key first. Get your API key. Go down to personal, then click on view API keys, and then you can easily create one here. And instead, you can come over here. You can see this button here. You can click on it and create a new API key for yourself. Hope you understood. So I already have mine. So you can create yours. Click on this create new secret key, and you have your API key. Hope you understood. So that is that for that. So once you've done that, go down to your Django project. I'm going to install OpenAI. I'm going to simply just say pip install OpenAI. Once that's done, go down to your view. So it's going to install. While it installs, we need to also import OpenAI at the top. I'm going to say import OpenAI. Okay, so I think it's done installing. So remember I told you to go copy your secret, your OpenAI key. By clicking on this button, I'm going to create a new key for yourself. So after you've done that, now come over here. After you see me just create a variable called, I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to call this variable open underscore API underscore key should be equal to this. So this is my OpenAPI key over. This is my key. Sorry, should be inside of the string. So this is my this is my, what am I doing? Sorry, I don't need to. This is my key over here. Hope you get. So there's it. Perfect. So once we've done this already, the next thing for you to do is this. Okay, right now this variable holds our OpenAI key. This is a common variable that simply holds our key, and then we need to then come and say OpenAI dot API underscore key dot API underscore key should be equal to open underscore API underscore key. So this is all you need to do for now. So now let's go down to the documentation. So click on documentation up here, scroll down, click on GPT under guides, click on GPT, and then we're going to use the chat completion API. Click on it. So this is how it is. We get, so this is how it is. So let me just scroll down a bit. Okay. Oh, let's just scroll. Okay. So you can come over here. You can just do a brief reading for yourself to understand what's going on behind the scene. Instead, so I'm using the. So I'm going to use this now. So I'm going to create a function. So let's just continue. Okay. Okay, let's copy this. See, I'll come over here now to the bottom of the page. I'll create a function. I'll just say I'm going to say ask. I'm going to call this function ask open AI. This is my function. I'm going to pass in the requests. I'm going to paste in what I copied. Hope you understood. Okay, so right now this should be a parameter name, not request. Sorry, it should be a parameter. I'm going to call it message as parameter name. I'm going to assign this to a variable. I'm going to call it, let me just say response. Response should be equal to this. Then I'll send this guy's in also. Okay, so once we've done this already, what's the next thing for us to do? So I only need this system and user, so I'll remove these two. So the engine we are using is GPT 3.5 Turbo. That's the engine we are using. Understand? So this role now, so this user, right now this content should be our message, and this message comes on the front end. So I'm going to pass this message over here. So that's it. So right now this content you see there should be the message coming from our form. I'm going to say message now. So that's it now. So once I'm done, the next thing for me to do now is to, okay, so I want to simply, if you check the documentation, for you to get your actual value, for you to get, right, these are the result comes out. These are it comes out. So for you to get your actual value, you have to use this. You can say in Python, the assistant reply can be extracted using this response, then choices, then the first item in the choice array, then message, and then content. So this I'm going to show you how it works. Okay, so let's just copy this. Ctrl C. Okay, sorry, my mouse is hanging. Okay, just copy this. I can just simply print. Let's print this. Okay, so we need to call this function. We need to call this function, and we need to call this function inside of this get value. I'll come over here and say ask OpenAI, and I'm simply going to then I want to pass in the value. I want to pass in the value for this message. So right now I need to get my value from, I'm going to say data should be equal to, so right now I want to get the values I am submitting from this form. I want to get these values in this backend. I've not gotten it yet, so I'm going to just say json.loads request.body. So this body you see here is coming from this custom.js. This body over here is coming from here. Understand? This body. So we continue. Request the body. So I need to import JSON. Control home. And also let me just say import JSON. So that's it. So once I've done it already. So for me to get my message itself, I'm going to just say message should be equal to data, and then square brackets. Remember from here, I'm going to get my message through this key called MSG. Understand? As I'm going to get my message. Okay, I'll pass it over here, MSG, and then when I call this ask OpenAI, when I call it, I'm just going to come over here and say message. That's the argument now, message. So now everything works well. I really hope everything does work well. Message. Okay, I didn't spell message well. So let's try again. I want to print out this response. Okay, run server. No, wait, not. Let's run server this time. Run server. Right now we're having an error. It's saying invalid syntax. Okay, I'm going to simply assign this to a variable first. Control X. I'm going to say answer should be equal to, okay, and then I'm going to just print answer. Print answer. So I'm going to show you how the result is going to look like. Understand? What's happening? It keeps throwing this error. Oh, it was my mistake. I need to bring this guy outside of this parenthesis. Sorry, that was my mistake. It should be outside. So I print here. Okay, I hope it works now. Okay, So now let's try saying something. Now let's say, what is a computer? Hope this is not an error. Let's be sure. Looks like an error. Oh, it's not an error. It's working. Okay, let's see what the console says. You can see it gives us an answer. It says a computer is an electronic device that can accept input. Right there, we have an answer. That's good. Remember, the answer comes from here, from this response we have here. This answer, understand? Able to print answer, and we are calling this function. This function called ask OpenAI. We are calling it inside of this get value function. Hope you understood, but we are not done yet. So now, okay, let's continue now. So right now we need to return answer. So rather than printing answer, let's return answer. So return answer. So once we return answer now, we'll be able to access this answer in this other function called get value. You understand? Because right now we are calling this ask OpenAI function instead of get value function. Understand now? So right now we need to get the value. We want to get the value of answer in this function. That's why we need to return answer. Understand? Once the answer has been returned, we'll be able to access the value of this function called ask OpenAI, which is this answer. We can access it outside of the function where it is called. You understand? Right now this ask OpenAI is called inside here, and if you return answer, we're able to access this answer whenever this function is called. You understand? So right now I'm going to come here. Our function is called here. You understand? This function called ask OpenAI is called inside of this function, and we pass message to it, and message represents the value coming from the front end. You understand? Now right now I want to get the value from OpenAI, which is, so the value from OpenAI, I'm going to assign it to a variable now. I'm going to say response should be equal to ask OpenAI. You understand? So this is what our response is now. You understand? So our response is actually the result we get from OpenAI. Hope you understood. So that's how it's working. That's how it is. You get it now. Okay, now this is our message we passed in. This is the response we are getting back, and then we need to pass that inside of this JSON response. Just like a normal context, let's pass it in. I'm going to first see MSG should point down to message, and then secondly I'm going to simply pass my response res should point down to response. Hope you understood. You understand? So we have this ask OpenAI. It's a function that connects to OpenAI through our API key at the top, and then return. So right side we have a return value called answer. We are calling this function inside of this get value function. How this function is being called. You understand? So wherever it is called, that the function that calls it is going to have access to this answer that was returned, and this answer is actually the value that comes from OpenAI. Hope you get. So that was happening here, and response has been assigned to the return value of ask OpenAI, and that's it now. So right now I think we are almost gone. We are good to go. So right now we are going to simply paste this message and response on our index of HTML. You understand? So we are going to pass it over there. Okay, we are not done. We're not done yet. Let's continue. So now let's continue. So remember from the beginning. So let me just bring this down so you can see clearly. I said before, this function is responsible for sending data to the backend, and if everything goes well, this other block before the catch block, if everything goes well, this other block before the catch block is going to get executed. You understand? So if there's an error, this catch block throws an error, or if there is none, we have this success block executing. Hope you get. So right now everything goes well, right? And we have a response now. So right now I want to get our response and pass into our templates. Understand? So right now you can see this container.inner HTML. Right, this point where we have here, this point is responsible for appending these two boxes to the screen. If I come over here and send something again, it's loading. You can see it has appended again. So that's what this session is doing over here. But right now these boxes are empty, right? So I want to simply get the value from OpenAI and then pass into these boxes. Hope you get. So our message is the data from the front end, and our response is our answer from OpenAI. Hope you get. So right now this is the user box. This user box, understand, this first box I highlighted is this box up here on top. This box is on top. Why this other box here, when I'm highlighted now, is the response from OpenAI. These colored boxes that is light blue, understand. So right now I'm going to simply come over here and say, okay, I'll simply just put in the I'm going to use JavaScript template literals. And I'm going to simply just say, remember it's called results. I'm going to say results dot msg, the key from here dot msg, that's the user's inputs, and then I'm going to pass the same thing here. I'm going to simply say results dot this response, this is the key. You're going to access them, you're going to get the value through their keys dot res. Hope you get now. So let's see, to the browser, let's search for something now. Okay, I'll just say, what is a computer? Search. Let's see, it's loading. It's loading. You can see right now what the computer is showing, and we got the answer on the page. Hope you get. And start what's the computer? I'll just say, who is Bill Gates? Send. Let's see, it's loading. Perfect, give me my answer. Understand? So everything is looking good. So who is the best player in the world? Who is the best player in the world? Send. It's loading. Once it's done loading, give us our response. You can see we've named them Lionel Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe. Understand? So it's working, right? It's working. So okay, we're not done yet. So right now, I want to be able to save this to our database. So let's go now. Let's go create our models, and then model.py. Let's do this quickly. We're almost done. Where's our models.py? Okay, I have to quickly write the models to save time. Hope you get. So I have to do this to save time. So the user field represent the current logged in user that's sent the request to the backend. The question is the value from the input field. The answer is the response from OpenAI, and this created is the time this particular model class was created. In a sense, it records the time it was created. Hope you get. So once you've done this already, make sure you go down to your admin.py file and register your app. Make sure you do that, and then let's make migrations. Okay, and also don't making migrations, we need to migrate, and then keep moving. We're almost done. So now let's migrate. Okay, migration is done. Let's run server. Okay, server is up and running. So let's go down to our views.py, so our views. So over here we are going to create a new question answer. I'm going to import I'm going to say from .models. From .models, going to import question answer here, and then here I'm going to create question answer .objects just create first field is called question, right? It's called user question and answer. Let's do that right away. User is going to be the logged in user, request.user, and then the question is going to be equal to message, and then the answer is going to be equal to response. Okay, this is it now. Perfect. So now let's go down to our admin session. Come over here, admin 127/admin. I'm going to log in as Clint. Okay, we have our question answer here. Currently it's 0 question answer. Let's create a new one. I'll just come over here and say, who the biggest YouTube channel in the world? Let's say the biggest channel in the world, the biggest YouTube channel. Send. It's loading. Once it's done loading, we're going to get our response. Open. Oh, my network is down. That's why it's taking time. So let me just turn up my network. Okay, we are saying what's the largest YouTube channel in the world? What is the largest or the biggest YouTube channel in the world? Largest YouTube channel. So submit, send. Let's see. Okay, it says T-series. Okay, everything is going well. It's going well. Okay, so now, and if I check my admin, refresh this page, we're gonna have a new. You can see we have this too. What's a computer? You can see everything is fine. Open it by the same user. Clint is the current logged in user. Check in by the same user. You can see save the question and also the answer. Everything is fine, right? So now let's continue. So next thing first is I want to be able to like list out the user's searches on the left panel. Hope you get. So how do you go about that now? I'll come over here to my view.py file. So I'm going to just copy from what I have in my previous code, what I did before, to save time. So I'll just copy this now and I'll explain what I did here. I'll explain everything. This is just to save time basically. Understand? So you gotta have the source code, I promise you. Paste. Okay, so I'm gonna simply, so now let's import date and time delta. I think it's from date time, say from date time. We can just say import dates. Let's try import time delta. Ouch, it's not getting it. So I'll say from date time. I think it's from date time. From date time, import dates, and let's import time delta also. Yeah, time delta. I think you are correct. So we imported these two now. I think error should disappear. So right now, I want to be able to get user searches based on like a day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They made these searches instead. See, right now, I've gotten today. This is today's. So this is yesterday. This is 7 days ago. You can see. So right now, I want to filter this. I want to filter each user's searches based on the days. If you check ChatGPT right now, for example, you can see this is previous 7 days. If I make a new search, this is for yesterday, this is for 7 days ago, you get. So if I make a new search on ChatGPT right now, it's going to show you my search on, it's going to show you my search on for today, you get. So that's what I want to just show you there. Okay, so that's that. So now right now I can filter my questions based for today's, one I searched today, the one I searched yesterday, and one I searched 7 days ago. Hope you get. So right now I already passed into the context dictionary. T questions stands for these T questions represent today's questions, Y questions for yesterday's questions, and this S question represents questions from 7 days ago. Hope you understood. So to my template, to my index.html, just up here, where do we have the session again? Okay, just here now. I will just come here. I need just one of these guys, one of you. One. Okay, I've gotten the one I need. So I'll just come over here and say if t questions, if t underscore questions. What am I going to do? Let me just clear this. I made a mistake. Go close here. If t underscore questions, I'll just come over here and pass in the. I'll just put a for loop. I'll say for. I just say for t q in t questions, in t underscore questions. And I'll just come here. I'll just cut this guy. Ctrl X. Paste inside the for loop. I'll paste here, and I'll set this as tq. Set tq. So let's see the browser. Refresh this page. So right now you can see these are my searches now. What's the computer for today? What's the biggest YouTube channel? These are my searches. These are my searches for today. So if I come over here now, for you can see right now this session you see here is dummy. So I'll just come over here and say if, what did I call it again? I think it's called if y underscore question. That is yesterday's question. If y underscore questions. We just come here. I think it's this one. Remove them. I'll just come over here and say if y underscore questions. And also I'll just copy this end block, Ctrl S, cut it, and then paste here. I'm not done. And then put in my for loop. I'll say yq in y questions and y underscore questions. So I'll copy this cuts and paste these guys inside there, and I'll set this to y questions. So currently we don't have any questions from yesterday, just for today. Instead I'm going to say yq, right? Yq. If I refresh this page now, guys, this session is going to be gone. If I do refresh, it's gone because we don't have any questions from yesterday. Okay, we are done with this tutorial of building a ChatGPT clone with Django and OpenAI. This is nowhere near ChatGPT. This is just a simple clone of ChatGPT, understand? So everything is perfectly working fine. I'll show you guys the source code on GitHub, understand? So stay tuned for the next video on this channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please do to subscribe, like, and share, understand? So thank you for watching. To meet in the next episode, to meet in the next video. So stay blessed and bye bye.